Boo! There we go. Mike was muted. Hey everybody, how's everyone? And blah blah. Already screwed up. Should just stop. Should just stop it right now. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to another amazing, fantastic episode of the Daily Vape TV live stream show. I'd call it something different every time I go live. I noticed that. But welcome everyone. Today we've got a review. I told you guys yesterday, if you watched that stream, that I was going to be probably popping on tonight to do a review of this guy right here, the Sub-Ohm Pod Mod Target PM80 from Vaporesso. And yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. And we're going to hang out and chat and just chill out and relax and have a good time, because that's what we do here on this channel. This is just a chilled out stream. No rules, just kind of hanging out with you guys. So, this is the item that we're going to be looking at today. It's not going to focus, but you know, you get the picture. We'll focus on it when we're down in the up close section. Let's just start by all having a nice vape break. How about that? Just take a few puffs. Just relax. Yeah, that's good stuff. And of course, I'm joined by Vape Cat back here. Say hi. Anyways, she doesn't want to say hi. She's camera shy most of the time. Until it's time that she wants attention, then she's a camera hog. If you guys watch the stew, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, thank you very much to Vaporesso for supplying me with some much needed vape gear in this drought. They've sent a bunch of stuff over that I have to take a look at over the next couple weeks, and I will be getting through those videos as quickly as I can. But with that, big shout out to them, and let's go over what I'm vaping on today. I'm sure you guys are curious, and it's a little bit different from yesterday. So we got this setup here. This is an interesting one because, yes, it is a smoke, or as they pronounce it in the UK, smock product. It's the mag grip. I don't know if there's a special name for the single battery version. I forget. But it's a single 21700 mag that Smoke came out with. I call it Smoke, personally. And I've got the Aromamizer Plus V2 RDTA on top by Steam Crave with a Hell Vape drip tip. This is one of their little... Oh, look, it focused. Wouldn't you look at that? I've got one of the Hell Vape drip tips on top of here because it's matchy-matchy. You know, you got to match up your setup. As you do. We're vapors here. So I wanted to set this thing up. I was testing it out on a bunch of different mods today. And, you know, there was some behemoth setups. I highly considered using the, what is it? The Incredible Bulk, as I call it. The purple people eater. The big bastard Warlock's Hammer mod from the one and only Mark Clough, rest in peace. And I was like, you know what? Next time I use this tank, I'll set it up on there. I'm going to test it out in a variety of different circumstances. So today I wanted some variable power just to test its, you know, capabilities. So I went with this one here, rocking it at 90 watts with some Honeydew Strawberry from Hydrip. I don't even have the bottle out because this thing holds 8 mils of e-liquid. Yes, 8 mils in its current setup. It holds 8 milliliters of e-liquid. I could throw the extension on there and hold up to 16 milliliters. That is just absolutely ridiculous. But I didn't want to make that sort of commitment yet. So with that, 8 mils in here, and it's been rocking pretty good. It goes through batteries at 90 watts, I will say that, with a single battery. But, you know, I think it looks pretty neat. Let's just have a few puffs on this one, shall we? That is delicious. The flavor, once the cotton broke in on this thing, I have it set up with the postless deck in there right now. And the flavor is really, really good. Once that cotton broke in, at first I was a little iffy, kind of on the fence about it, but now it's really good. It's definitely up there in the flavor department. That's my attempt at vape tricks there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. The other setup I have is, boom, the Kennedy Ruby what is this one called? The Ruby 24, Ruby Constant Contact. I forget what they actually call this thing. It was the one that Steve Kennedy sent all the Stooges, and I've been using it again lately with this copper switch, copper constant contact switch. Hits like a beast. It's the same flavor in there, high drip, honeydew strawberry. I would say the flavor is pretty good. Kennedy's pretty much my favorite atomizer out there on the market, so it's hard to really beat that. I forget whose coils these are. I believe there are some coil image aliens. Could be wrong. I got some for British Eyes Only aliens in here. Make sure you guys hit him up for coils. He's in chat right now. He's going to hate me for that. But there you go. There's your little promo, Ryan. Yeah. So that is my setups for the day. I do have my rig mod going as well, but I haven't been really using that much since I set up this behemoth RDTA. Anyways, let's talk about this PM80. Once again, I am fully underprepared here. Let's just check it out. Let's see. Target PM80. No, not that. No. I totally should have looked this up beforehand, but let's just check it out on one of my go-to sites, Element Vape. It's currently out of stock on Element Vape. However, they have it running for about $35 US. You have a choice of, looks like 6 different colors. You have a resin red, a resin blue, green, purpley thing, a silver textured one like I have here, and then the brown one like I have here right now, and there's also a black and blue carbon fiber. However, I believe there's also other colors available. Let's just try to find this in stock. Of course, I will not be linking anything, nor do I allow links in chat to where you can find these because of YouTube rules, and I try to conform as much as I can. Looks like, let's see if they have them. Looks like my Vapor Store's got them in stock for the same price right now, so that's actually a pretty good deal. And they have 5 colors to choose from, so that's not bad if you guys want to grab one of these for yourself. But please, no links in chat. No. We don't want that. Eventually, I will start posting these replays on my website again so that I will be putting the links in chat, but it's just, I got to get back into the flow of things, man. I'm trying to adapt to this new style, and I'm getting there. I think I'm really close. I've got my lighting dialed in. I've got the music going for the intros. I've got my intros kind of somewhat figured out. No real good transitions or anything, but whatever. But anyways, some basic specs. It has an Axon chip, which they've been using lately. Vaporesso has. It's a refillable pod / cartridge system. It's an all-in-one device. Built-in battery capacity is 2,000 milliamp hours. Output power is 5 to 80 watts. Resistance range is 0.1 to 3 ohms. E-liquid capacity is 4 mil for the US version. Of course, there's a TPD version as well, which I'm sure Jennyson can attest to. Adjustable wattage / voltage. Instant firing speed of 0.001 seconds, which is pretty impressive. Stylized pattern design, blah, blah, blah. 0.96 TFT display screen, ergonomic and compact design. Designed for sub-ohm and direct lung users, but it also it has 2 different coils included in the box. 45 to 60 watt and also a 32 to 45 watt coil head, which is 0.2 and 0.3 ohm respectively. But one thing I kind of wanted to get out of the way real quick before we get too far into this is the fact that they have already emailed me and said they're coming out with a rebuildable deck for the PM80. So I am super excited about that, hence kind of the little thing in the title. It is a damn good pod system, and it's only going to get better with this rebuildable deck. Pretty excited about that. Looking forward to getting that in from Vaporesso. And I will tell you right now, before we even go down to the close-ups, that I really, really have enjoyed using this device over the past couple of weeks. You guys might have seen me on a bunch of other shows talking about this thing, and I really do enjoy it. Now, we're going to get to why in a little bit here, but first, before we do that, First things first. First things last, I guess. But let's give a couple of shout outs to you guys in chat. So please do me a favor and just type something in chat real quick so I can shout your name out if you guys are watching this. I know it's kind of a spur of the moment sort of stream, and you guys probably weren't expecting me to go live, but for those of you that are here right now, I do have to give credit where credit's due. So big shout out to Wintucky Shine, Jenny Sin Designs. She was actually made the little cartoon version of me in the little intro that you saw. For British Eyes Only, for supplying me with coils and for being a patron and for being generally awesome. Vapor Swaggins for being a fellow stooge. Let's see, we've got Chloe Dean. Hello, hello, hello. How we doing tonight? We've got Lee Diddy 07, Lollipop Vape. Stu Rep is in the house as well. So big shout out to all of you guys for hanging out with me here. But yeah, so... and yes, there is a delay, so I do see your chat a little bit late. So I apologize if you guys are spamming right now, but I will do some more shout-outs later. Boom, shout-out to John Riker. He did the little Vulcan hand thing. I didn't even know you could do that in emojis, but there you go. Is that Vulcan? Is that Vulcan? I believe that's Vulcan. I've never a huge Star Trek fan. I'm sorry. But yeah, let's... we got a few other people showing up here. An advocate for liberty. We've got Voodoo 1013 saying hello to a fellow masshole. What's up? But yeah, I'll give you guys more shout outs if you stay tuned at the end of the video. If you guys want a shout out, I'll do it as well. So let's go ahead and there's Frank Wolf. Let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and we'll take a better look at what we got here. Whoop. All right, so as you can see here, we've got the Vaporesso Target PM80 box. It is a lovely shade of doo-doo brown, and they could have came up with a more creative name. I would have called it copper, personally, just to avoid the whole brown thing. I don't know. It's not the 70s anymore. I don't think too many people are super into brown. But yeah, there it is. We could see some basic specs on this side here, the Axon chip, the fast, does that say 2 amp? Okay, 2 amp charging. I thought it said 3 amp. I was going to call them out for bullshit there, but yeah, 2 amp charging. It has the mesh coils and it goes up to 80 watts, that side. Some company information on the top there. Nothing on that side, just brown, and just Vaporesso Target PM80 on the top rather. On the back, your basic stuff, specifications, what the kit contains, scratch and sniff, little color indication / UPC, and a big space at the bottom for the UK version having to have that gigantic warning sticker. So that's why that is there. For anyone that doesn't know, the UK requires a massive warning symbol, like big warning label on all their vapor products. Regardless if it contains nicotine or not, which I think is ridiculous, but hey. So, as you can see here, we have a pod, an empty pod. So it comes with 2 separate pods, and I believe they're for 2 different coils. So this one here is the other coil that I didn't use. I forget which one I put in there, or which was already in there. This is the GTX, can't see, 0.3. So I have the 0.2 in there currently, which is a little bit higher wattage. This is the 0.3, which I haven't used yet. You know what? Even not having used it, I'm going to say there's probably not a whole lot of difference. But that's just speculation because I haven't used it. I've been using the same exact pod in there for almost a month, about a month. And it's been holding up really well, so I have had no need to change that pod whatsoever, and I've filled it up probably a dozen times or so. There's also that's where the other pod was, or the other coil was, rather. Obviously, I didn't put it back in the box. So underneath, we have one of Vaporesso's pretty decent little braided sort of cables. It's a micro USB. Kind of wish this one was USB-C, just because, not that it makes all that much of a difference, but just for the simple fact that you can flip around a USB-C either way and it will charge. But just because it's status quo, I guess they threw in the old micro USB until USB-C becomes more prevalent. I feel like we're just going to see these for a while. But yet another one goes into the collection. This collection of micro USB cables comes in handy sometimes because I've had customers lose their cables or just ask for another one, and I'm just like, hey, yeah, no problem. I got a whole stash of them. Boom. And they get a free cable out of it. So there you go. We also have airflow blockers. These go into, hold on, where is it? These go into the little side vents here to block off some of the airflow. I have not found these useful personally, but if you want a more restricted draw, then that's how you would do it there. I find it kind of interesting that they didn't include a 1+ ohm coil, considering this thing could easily be adjusted down to a couple of watts and have it have a really nice vape at what was I going to say? You could have a really nice vape at like 10-12 watts with a 1.2 ohm coil, and they missed that opportunity. But let's just wait for when we go back up to the top to talk about that. Other than that, you get the standard fare. We have some warning stuffs, how to check the QR, coil suggestions, and all that stuff, and a little tiny envelope with, this is going to be warranty info. Yeah, warranty card in there. Very classy that they put it in its own little envelope, but kind of unnecessary. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in chat what you guys think about that. Embossed Vaporesso logo and everything. And last but not least, we have the user manual, which this thing is like bound and everything. They went all out with this booklet. I mean, if any booklet was designed for me personally, this would be it. But you have all the languages, and you have colored graphics, and the printing isn't ridiculously small. It's pretty small, but there's about 50 different languages, so the relevant part for me is going to be right at the beginning, where all you need is the English version. So looks like, nope, that's French. Yeah, that's French. So there's about 4 or 5 pages here. This is, yeah. So literally, it's front and back 2 pages for each language. So you probably have about 40 different languages in here, which is a bit overkill, but I do respect them for, you know, having a really nice user manual. I'm rambling, so I'm just going to shut up, and we're going to talk about the actual device itself. We're going to put all that stuff back in the box, tucked away, probably to never be seen again. Oh, I forgot to put the airflow restrictors in. It's going to bug me, my OCD. So here we go. Let's zoom in. Wow, voice cracking. Let's zoom in on this a little bit here in just a second. Do 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 do. All right, zoomed in ever so slightly. I always hold it upside down. Don't know why, but there you go. There's the Target PM80 in all its glory, and as you can see, it's a pretty cool looking little all-in-one kind of system. Let's turn the light up a little bit too. So yeah, you have a charging port down here, micro USB, obviously. Nice gunmetal sort of shroud around the outside. We have a screen. There you go. It shows all the relevant information, and it's got a little bit of color to it, so that's pretty neat. The battery indication, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the battery indication in a little bit. But it has your resistance of your coils. The font choice on here is a little bit interesting because I find it a tad hard to read. You guys might not even be able to tell because it's never going to focus properly, because why would it? Let's try to manually focus it. Ooh, a little too close. There we go. So as you guys can probably see here, the font is a little bit blocky, and I find that a little bit hard to read with the light background with dark text and then light text on a dark background. But you guys, let me know what you think in chat. I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think there. Really not a whole lot going on with this screen. Power up, power down. It goes in 0.5 watt increments. You have a full battery indication at the top with the percentage and everything. You have a puff counter, you have a seconds counter, you have voltage, working voltage and resistance, and it even gives you a best between. So I could crank this thing up to 45 watts if I wanted to, but personally I find it really nice for a restricted direct to lung at 30 watts. That's where I've been for the past couple weeks, and for me it's just right. It hits just right. It has that little fade kind of thing going on, which is actually, I kind of like that. On and off, 5 clicks, pew, and then it turns on really fast as well. Boom. And holding up and down. Holding up and down I thought did something. I could be wrong. There it goes. There's the menu. So variable wattage. Oop, I'm pressing the wrong button. Everything is backwards for me. So variable wattage, smart variable wattage, and the puff theme, and set it back to default, and then exit. We're going to go to exit, holding that again. You know, you can select these if you want to set a puff limiter or anything like that. You could do that. I prefer not to, so let's just go ahead and, oh no, now I did it. Now I did it. I broke it. All right. There we go. Okay, so we're back out of the menu. Power button and up button. Does nothing. Power button, down button. Shuts it off, apparently. I did not know that. I have, oh no, that's just showing you the firmware version. That's what it is. Okay. I thought it was powering down. So there you go. I mean, really basic stuff. Let's go turn autofocus back on. Boop. Pod comes out like so. Here's the pod itself. And the coil, actually, I'm going to go back to manual focus for this because this camera has a very difficult time focusing for some reason. Ooh. There we go. So here's the pod itself. I find it interesting that the airflow kind of comes in from the side. It rides this little channel. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult to see, but it rides this channel right here, down here, down into the coil area, and it gives a very adequate, smooth airflow. So I was very impressed with that. You also get the limiters in the box like you saw. The filling method is this big plastic piece right here. It's kind of like a harder rubber kind of plug, and ample room to fill it up with your unicorn bottle or whatever you may have. Dripper bottles are going to be a little bit difficult, but those are kind of few and far between nowadays. But yeah, I find it very easy to fill this thing up. And your coil, it's just as easy as pulling this right here and popping a new one back in. Still have some liquid in here, so if I flip the pod, I might be able to take it out and show you guys. I'm gonna get liquid all over my fingers, but let's just pull the coil out real quick for you. So this is after several weeks of use, and yes, I know it's a little bit brownish, but the flavor is still all there. The color of the actual cotton part itself is because of the color of the liquid. This liquid I'm using is not the kindest of coils. It's SVRF. I believe it's called refreshing. It's not the kindest of coils, but as you can see, it's still kicking. This thing is still kicking. It does have flat sides to the coil that you have to line up. You want the flat sides of the coil. Hold on, there we go. So there's a line. You can kind of see the line on the coil right there. That you want perpendicular to the pod itself. So there you go. That's a pretty good explanation. I don't really know a better way of explaining it. The drip tip, or mouthpiece I should say, is built in. You can't change that. Not really a huge issue because it's fairly comfortable. It's a fairly standard size. It's got a little taper to it, as you can see. Impossible really to show you the bore of the actual mouthpiece, but I would say it's about a standard 510 size, and that's really all there is to it, guys. I mean, it has these are magnets right here. There's your connection. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to show you on the pod side of things. Just to show you the inside here, yes, it does leak a little bit. Is it a major issue? No, because you just wipe it out with a Q-tip and some alcohol or a paper towel every now and then, and it's really not that much of an issue from what I've seen. But you know what? I would say that every pod leaks. I'm pretty sure. But we have the magnet contacts there, and we have the little positive and negative diode things in the base there. And there you can see the inside of the air channels where my thumb is moving. You can see the air channels, and it provides really good, smooth, plentiful airflow. And that's really all there is to it. There's this kind of like textured grip to it, which I find pretty comfortable. The bottom doesn't really have anything on there. It stands upright nicely, and that's about it, guys. I mean, it's an all-in-one system. There's really not that much to talk about. I will cover some questions from you guys if you have any a little bit in a few minutes here. But that is basically that for the Vaporesso Target PM80. And let's go back up to the main screen, shall we? Boop. All right, so it's an all-in-one kit, okay? These all-in-one kits have been progressively getting better and better and better over the past few months. You used to think an all-in-one kit, and it was something like an EVOD or an Joytech AIO or something like that. Whereas nowadays, you got screens, you got power adjustments, you have different types of regulation, whether it be wattage or voltage manipulation. This thing's got all the bells and whistles. And the size is absolutely great. It's tiny, I mean, relatively speaking, for what it has, 2,000 milliamp hour battery and up to 80 watts, which is more than enough power for me. And the convenience factor is just amazing as well. The battery does last quite a while, but once it gets below 50%, it dies really quickly. So I feel like it's almost like a gas gauge on most vehicles, where you feel like when you have a full tank, it's full for a really long time, and the second it gets down to halfway, it's just like, next thing you know, you're at the gas station. It could be an illusion. I haven't measured amperage or anything like that. I just go by what I see on the screen. Speaking of what I was kind of hinting at earlier, the battery level indicator, I'm not sure if it's the actual battery loses power quicker once it gets below 50%, or the battery gauge is off a little bit, because something doesn't seem right when it comes to the amount of time overall that I get vaping on this thing and the amount of time that it spends in the above 50% range versus the amount of time it's below 50%. And now I've been vaping this thing at 30 watts pretty consistently the entire time, and I can tell you that I get easily a full workday out of this if I'm only using this device. So if you're someone that is able to vape quite a bit during the day, then this thing will absolutely last you easily a full day with the 0.2 at around 30 watts. If you're using anything higher than that, 45 to 60, which is recommended for this coil, I can't make any promises. However, I feel like, if you work a normal job, then it'll last quite some time, because not everyone can sit there and vape like I do. So, what do I think about this thing? I really like it. I think it's an excellent pod system / all-in-one, and I really am highly anticipating the coil, the RBA deck, whatever you want to call it, the building deck for this thing. Really curious as to how they're going to implement that, whether it's going to be a whole new pod with a whole new system going on or what, but it should be pretty interesting. Pretty sure it's going to be one of those ones that's 2 posts off center, and you're just going to have the coil dangling over and just a little tiny tuft of cotton hanging down in there. But, or whether or not it's going to reduce the capacity. there you go. These are questions I don't know the answers to yet, but we will see as soon as I get that pod in. I will inform you guys as to what's going on with it and whether or not I like the pod version or the coil version, pre-made coil version versus the RBA deck. But yeah, so far I am absolutely loving this thing. This is one of the only all-in-ones that I have that doesn't take a battery externally. I kind of put this in a different category than things like the Ratel and the Ratel XS and stuff like that, because those are very different. Those are very different devices. This was designed centric around the pre-made coils. The Ratel is designed around a buildable deck. So there's a big difference in those two devices. I like the screen better on this one. I like the size of this one better. I like the built-in battery. There's just a lot that I really, really like and enjoy about vaping on this device. And there's not a whole lot that I don't like about it, honestly. I mean, you could kind of complain that you can't change a drip tip, but at the end of the day, it's not a huge factor for me. It's not a big deal because, like I said, this one is just as comfortable as any other 510 tip that I might have. Maybe if they tapered it or something, or not tapered, but they made it concave, that might have been a little bit better, but it's personal preference. It's a personal preference thing. Yeah, but I'm really, really digging this thing. At 30 watts, this thing can produce a ton of vapor. The battery lasts all day. You only have to fill it. It's 4 mil pods, so you only have to fill it maybe once a day. How can you go wrong? This thing is pretty awesome. So, with that, first, before we get into the randomness of chat and all that stuff, I want to hear some questions and actual vape-related commentary from you guys in chat. Also, I want to know how things are going on your end for 1080p streaming, because this is the first 1080p stream I've done, and I just want to know, would you rather 720p 60 frames a second or 1080p 30 frames per second? You know, let me know in chat there. But yeah, vape-related questions, please, about this PM80. I know Jennison has one, so I will anxiously await that. So Legion Vape says, Vaporesso have announced a smaller version for mouth-to-lung, the PM30. Now, personally, I do not vape mouth-to-lung. Almost never. I do restricted direct-to-lung, or I do the hybrid-style hit, like I like to call it, where you pull it into your mouth and then kind of like inhale halfway through. I know that sounds really weird, but it kind of goes like this. Hard to explain, and I don't have it set up right to do what I'm looking to do. But regardless, I very rarely mouth to lung, but I have a good feeling that mouth to lung version will be just the same as this, if not, better for you mouth to lung users out there. I have a lot of faith in Vaporesso right now, as far as these devices go, but we'll talk about the other ones in another video. Let's see. Frank Wolf says he likes 1080p. I'm looking like a snack. Well, Frank, we can meet up in the Zoom room after the show. I'm just kidding. Advocate for Liberty says it looks great. Nice. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing 1080p streams from now on, as long as everyone's cool with just rocking 30 frames a second. I really don't think 60 frames a second for vape reviews are necessary, but that's just me. Hybrid hit is where it's at, says For British Eyes Only. I'm telling you, man, I think I stumbled upon something great with the mouth-to-lung hybrid hits. Personally, I don't plan on doing anything higher than maybe even 6 milligram for the direct, like the actual mouth-to-lung, or mouth-to-lunging, I guess you could call it, if you want to create a verb. But the hybrid hit, you could probably do it with 3 milligram because you still get a pretty big hit out of a hybrid style hit like I like to do. It's so hard to explain how to do it. It's kind of like start mouth to lung, end direct to lung. So it's so hard to explain. You really have to do it on a strictly mouth to lung device. Let's see. I'll just grab a disposable. So Let's try it. Like halfway through, you carb your mouth, add air into your hit, and direct to lung it. And then you get like, it's almost like a 1-2 punch, because you get the initial like stuff that was you already had in your mouth, and then you're direct to lunging it on top. So it's kind of like building in your lungs. So you get a killer hit. But yeah. Oh, there you go. Ender says, #aftershow. So, I'm not going to say what Legion Vape said. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions related to the device itself? I'm really curious as to what you guys think about these all-in-one vapes. Personally, I don't own a RPM80 or RPM40 or any other all-in-one adjustable mod with a screen like this one. However, I do sell them at work, so I'm familiar with them. Or like the Orion Quest Ultra, which has the adjustability now. I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys think of this form factor versus a simple all-in-one or a mod. You know, I mean, I'm not even going to say back in the day, because you can't say back in the day when it was like 2 years ago. But, you know, 2 years ago, we had the box mods, the little tiny box mods that probably only had like an 18350 or 2350 in there. And you had a little tiny bad mouth-to-lung tank. 90% of the time, it was not good. And now we have these things that are like pods, in that they have this removable piece here where you put a coil into it. So it's not quite a tank, it's not quite a pod, it's an all-in-one, which is almost like the best possible way to describe it, but it's really not indicative of what the actual device is, because this little guy right here goes up to 80 watts, which is insane. Jenny, one, have you turned smart mode on? 2, my first pod leaked from the drip tip when I filled it up. Curious if it's happened to me. Aside from that and the 2 mil issue, I love it. Okay, so Jenny Sin, for those of you that don't know, is located in the UK. So she's stuck with TPD 2 mil pods. That sucks. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. I have not had any major leaking issues out the top. It's mostly out the bottom into the reservoir, or whatever you want to call this section right here. As you can see, it's a little bit juicy. I haven't cleaned it out in like a week. So yeah, it leaks. It's sort of a con, I guess, if you hate cleaning your mods. Personally, I feel like normal vaping requires normal maintenance. You know, you change your coil once a week, you change out your cotton and your drippers and your RDTAs and your RTAs. What's so different than popping a pod out, giving it a wipe with a paper towel, and then cleaning it with a little alcohol and a cotton swab? Really not that big of a deal, for me, at least. Yes, I would categorize that as a con. Is it a major one? I would say it wouldn't put me off buying this device. I've said this a lot lately in the Discord. I feel like anything $35 and under, you should just buy it. If you're at all interested in it, $35 and under is like the just buy it price point for me. And this is definitely one of those devices where it's like, hey, I kind of want one of those devices. Oh, it's $50? We'll think about it. We'll wait for the reviews. We'll wait till our friends get it one and see how they like it. $35, just buy it just to see what it's like. It's really not that much money for something that you're not going to hate. But, I mean, that's not always true. However, I digress. Out the tip, never had any leakage. When you fill it, you want to fill it as quickly as possible. General rule of thumb with everything. You also want to make sure 100% that your pod is seated correctly, or your coil is seated correctly inside the pod. If there's a loss of vacuum pressure, or if that pod is pulled out at all, and that top O-ring on the coil doesn't seat properly, then that juice is just going to flow right out there. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go back to your question, Jenny. I have not turned on smart mode. Let's turn on smart mode. Let's turn on smart mode. Oh, okay. Essentially, smart mode kind of, yeah, I figured. It cranked up my wattage. So it's at 55 watts now. Personally, I find that a bit too warm. So really all it did was just turn up the wattage. You could still adjust it afterwards, and literally all it does is change your wattage one time to somewhere in between the recommended wattage. It recommends 45 to 60, it turned it up to 55. I'm not sure if that's based on battery life or what, but there you go. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. I am a variable wattage user. I very rarely will use variable voltage. I almost never use temp control. That's just how I like to vape it. And I review stuff based off of how I like to vape it. So, yeah. Smart mode, completely unnecessary, but it's a feature that's in there, just like temp control on every mod, whereas I feel like maybe 10% of people ever touch. So it's just a feature that's in there that's not necessary, but hey, it's there if you want it. All right. So, let's see. An advocate for liberty says, I'm kind of on the fence about with the AIO systems. I don't mind them for daily carry while out and about. That said, I'm not doing much of that recently. Yeah. As I always review these little pod systems and stuff like that, I always review them based on the fact that it's something that you can slip into your pocket. Now, actually, Ender's Other Game and I were talking earlier about pocketing mods, i.e. the mag grip here with the aromomizer. I wouldn't put this in my pocket. I carry around a bag with me everywhere I go, so this goes in the bag. And if I'm not carrying the bag, I have a little pouch that I can strap onto my belt. I use that. Am I ever going to put this in my pocket? Probably never. It's just too big and bulky, bottom line. That's why they make these little systems here. So if I'm running out of the house to, do my emergency liquor purchasing or something like that, then I'll carry this one, or a pod system, like a tiny pod system. Would I ever decide to just grab this thing? Probably not, because I don't want to leave it in the car while it's hot in there or cold in there, or get it stolen if someone decides to break into my car. God forbid. But yeah, I look to these for pocket mods. But yes, I know a lot of people haven't been doing that recently. Legion Vape says the OG Artery Nugget. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a good little guy. There was a few little shining stars in that category a while back, but a lot of times those tanks were pretty bad. The tanks were bad or the coils were bad. Just wasn't a big fan, but there was a few little gems from back in the day that were really, really nice. Anakin came out with a couple little teeny tiny 40 watt mods. They didn't come close to this power, but for 40 watts or 30 watts or 50 watts or whatever, they were really, really nice. And the OG Artery Nugget was definitely one of those. And Puddle Jumper says, heavy brick mods for life. You can lock it. There is a way you can lock it in there. I thought there was a way you could lock it. Is it 3 clicks? I think it's 3 clicks. Yeah, 3 clicks is lock it. 3 clicks is unlock it. So when it's locked, 1, 2, 3, it still fires, but you can't lower or raise your power level. So be aware of that. Locking it is not the same as turning it off. Be aware of that. It's not that difficult to unlock or to turn off your mod before you put it in your pocket. I tell people at the shop all the time, they go, oh, I burnt my coil out. Turn your device off. Simple as that. Lock, 5-click lock or 5-click turn off versus turn on. It's about the same thing. Takes about the same time for the little animation to go unlocked, locked, versus turning it on and turning it off with this here. With the modern chips, they don't take 4 or 5 seconds to turn on like they used to. Okay. Pocket friendly, absolutely. Let's see. Did you show the airflow plugs? I did. I did show the airflow plugs in the close-up section of the video. They literally just block off these little openings right there, which is kind of neat. Can you use that coil in the cold without it burning? I mean, it depends on your definition of cold. I've been using it in the New England temperatures as of recently for the past few weeks, and it's been fine. As far as a freezer, that's a tough call. Being in a freezer is difficult because your juice just does not want to wick. That's why if I always tell people that work in freezers and stuff like that, if they're wearing a jacket or any sort of covering, to have it on the inside, like an inside pocket or even in your pants pocket, you know, try to get as much body heat on that thing as you can to keep it as warm as possible for extended periods of time, because it's not good to get mods cold, as we all know. If it leaks, it's instant never use again for me. Oh, well, you know, some people find that to be really annoying. It's never leaked in my pocket. It's never like, you know, poured out the side or anything for me, so I'm not going to fault it. But weekly maintenance is kind of a normal thing for me. Okay, let's see. Tip leakage, oh God. Just have his own out there. I'm trying to keep up with chat here. A little bit behind. 4.2 volts and forget it. Yeah, if you want to use voltage, 4.2 volts and forget it. That's kind of a rule of thumb. Usually I'm more of a 3.7 kind of guy. You know, if I'm doing voltage, I like to be under the max. But that's just me. Curbside service at work. People need to learn how to pre-order. They need to call beforehand. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the stew. Can I slip you into my pocket? No, you cannot. You need to pay at least 10 eggplants and a peach for that, which Jenny has already claimed dibs. Mike's Mex pod mods have a place, even if even I use the Vinci X when actually working. See, there you go. Mike's Mex himself, the man with all of the freaking tube mods out there, says he uses a pod at work. It has its place. They have their place in the industry. I just don't use them all the time. Yeah, Coil Image definitely can't put any of his mods in his pocket. He owns a lot of Philippines bricks of metal. Let's put it that way. Just elaborate, ornate bricks of metal. Let's see. Oh, God, yeah, the COV Mini Volt. That's a throwback right there. I used to like that thing a lot. They actually had a newer version, like an updated version of it from Inikin. Inikin came out with one, the same exact box dimensions, but with like way more power and battery life, which I liked a lot more. You have a hoodie with a big pocket. Are you? Yeah, you definitely need like sew a pocket on the inside of a hoodie. That's what I would do. Personally, that's what I would do if I worked in a freezer. I'd sew a hoodie with an inside pocket so I can, or have like a hoodie pocket like this, and try to find a way to cut a hole on the inside and have a pocket like so you can reach through and have a pocket on the inside. That's what I would do. I'm kind of handy. I don't know if you guys know this. I can sew and stuff. So for me, it's like no problem. But I get how people that, you know, either that or even a lanyard. Put it on a lanyard, tuck it all the way on the inside right against your body. And that'll prevent the juice from freezing on you. Please make that old-timey robot sound again. Which one? That one? I don't know. What? I don't know which robot sound you're talking about. Chloe, gotta go. Stay safe. Stay safe as well. Glad you were stopped by for this. Oh, we have Jessica. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Jessica is from Vaporesso. Is she stalking me? Let's see. Let's see my contacts. Yes, it is. Jessica actually works for Vaporesso. So hi, Jessica. How's it going? I'm glad you caught the stream. I'm sorry I haven't replied to your emails. But yeah, I'm loving this thing. This PM80 is excellent. big thumbs up. Really do like it. Like I said earlier, can't wait for the rebuildable pod coil thing section to come out. Looking forward to that. But this is definitely my go-to right now for a nice pocket vape. Let's see. Robot sound. Jesus. I didn't pre-order. Didn't realize I got there. It's you know, it's all good, but you know, call ahead, please. Hey, everyone's welcome at my shop. Like I said, pretty much every Saturday we have a pizza party. So, I mean, you're more than welcome to stop by. Let's see. How's your kid? She was screaming a while ago. Not my kid, not my problem. Roommate's kid. Yeah, she's a wild child. Wait, Daily Vape kid. No, that's not my kid. But yeah, all right. So we have a couple minutes left before That's What She Said starts. So any question you guys want me to answer, I'm an open book. If you guys want to talk about whatever, COVID or life or your problems, I'm like a bartender on the daily basis. Actually, that's kind of one thing I do miss about not letting people in the shop is not having that time to be the person that helps people with their issues. You know, I've gotten people through some like serious crises. So I'm kind of like honored that people come to me for advice and help, even though I'm just a guy that works at a shop. But, you know, any vape shop employee can probably feel me on that one because, yeah, you kind of end up listening to people, you know, with their daily lives. You get to know people, your customers, your regulars, and you care about them, you know? You really do care about them. And I love all my regulars, man, and I wish them the best. And we're going to pull through this thing. It's going to be back to normal, and we're going to have a big old party when this is all done. Oh, I can't wait till that day, but I can tell you right now, it's a little while off. Let's see. No, Frank, don't spread rumors. Let's see. Learning how I'm like far too quickly. I'm reading chat ahead of when I speak, and it's a very difficult thing to do when you're a streamer because you have to read chat, figure out whether or not you want to respond to something, and then respond to the things that you need to. Stop it, you guys in chat. Are you the Twitch streamer slightly buzzed? Yes, I am. In fact, I'm probably going to stream right after this. I don't think I'll be streaming COD. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a step back from COD lately, but I will be back to it eventually when I feel like it. Kind of feel like streaming some Just Cause. Just Cause. I could do the very distasteful thing and stream. What's that game called? Plague Inc. Or I could stream some. What's the other game I got? Destiny 2, City Skylines, something like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out pretty soon. Hey, I'm going to mispronounce this name. We were just talking about it. Schweizsteiger Wolfschlagenhausen Bergedorf. I don't think I did too bad there. I hope. Kevin Violetto says, I liked them so much I bought 2 of them, different coil in each. And I believe you're talking about this device. I don't know. Are you talking about this device, Kevin? Because if so, I would agree. This is worth a double purchase if you guys are really into these sort of devices. Streaming Just Cause, yes. Jessica, thank you for stopping by. It's nice to see you here. It's good to see that a company actually watches the streams that their products, you know, their products are showcased in. You very, very rarely will see that. And you've made an excellent product here. I definitely stand by it. And, you know, it's not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid. I just like the product. I like the product, and I will give credit where credit's due. Let's see. Feedback, change the clear. Change clear bung. In the 2 mil tank, it makes it look awful. Dry hits aside from that, awesome. Well, there you go. See? And my people in chat can speak directly. That's amazing. I never had a problem with the 2 mil. I obviously don't have that issue, Jenny. I can only give feedback on the things I'm privy to, and that is the US version of this device. So I didn't have that issue, and I don't have any leaking as well. So perhaps there's an issue that needs to be solved with the TPD version. But there you go. There's some good feedback from a shop owner from the UK. Any other points you would like to make? Anyone want to me to answer a random question? Anything at all? You know, keep it PG-13-ish. Hope the whole COVID thing is treating you well. Much love from South Africa. Well, Walter, thank you for stopping by the stream. And yeah, much love to you guys as well. Hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy out there. We're doing all right up here. I'm staying good, staying healthy, staying at work, and serving the people their vape liquids and vape devices through all of this stuff so they can not go back to stinky cigarettes. And that's one thing I'm pretty proud of, to be honest. Many people thought preppers were paranoid. Shit is a-coming. Is this a shit hits the fan moment? I wouldn't say yet. It's not a total economic collapse. I feel like the fallout, I mean, in the next few months are going to kind of dictate what happens with the next, you know, the next few years. The price of oil is just eliminated. I mean, there's a lot that's going on that a lot of people aren't paying attention to because they're so blindsided by the just sheer numbers of people falling victim to this. And yeah, essentially, I would just say, like Schweitsteiger says, wash your hands. Wash your hands. That's all you got to know. Any more Fresh Build Fridays in the near future? Maybe. I've been doing random ass build videos in the middle of the week. It's very difficult right now with my current schedule to get it done on Fridays. However, I am having another schedule change coming up in the future, or rather next week. So Fresh Build Fridays might be back. Little cue there for you guys. Might be back sooner than later. So keep an eye open for those videos. I'm pretty excited if I can possibly bring them back. That'd be really cool. But I have a really old, I have 2 really old atomizers that I want to build and try out in 2020. So we're probably going to try that. And finally, someone says, do you like mayo chup? It's about time someone read my message in Vape Stew. I haven't actually tried the actual mayo chup. For those of you that don't know, it's mayo and ketchup in one bottle, and it's branded by Heinz. So they did the thing. I have not tried. Uh-oh. Come on, baby. Come back. There we go. Oh, all right. All right, I am back. Sorry about the little hiccup there. I'm about to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That about does it for this video. Hope you guys had a great night. Check me out on... Oh, God. No, don't do this to me. Anyways, hopefully this works. I'm going to say goodnight, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. And as